Welcome to the Casper Podcast, where we take a deep dive into blockchain technology and speak with those who are building the future of the decentralized web. I'm your host, Joe Benso, and recently Matt Schaffnet and myself attended the CV Summit in Zug, Switzerland. There, we were able to catch up with a handful of builders and founders in the blockchain space, and we were also able to sit down with Georg Bak, a highly accomplished art advisor and curator specializing in digital art and NFTs. Georg was kind enough to share some thoughts about the current state of the NFT space and what builders and collectors might look out for in 2024. So let's take a trip to the CV Summit and listen in on some of those great conversations. We're here in CV Summit in Zug, Switzerland, and we're talking with all the builders in this space who've come from all around the world. Can you introduce yourself, what you're doing here in Zug?
This is Zoe. I'm from Lugano, from Ticino, southern Switzerland, and I'm here in CB in Zug because my friend Georg gave me FOMO and he gave me a ticket to come over.
This is Mortis. I'm actually also part of the Introverse as a co-founder with Zoe. We are here in the CV Summit because we love to be inside the space, do some networking, get to know new people, and see the real builders. Because I believe the people that remain in this market, and not bear market, in the building market, are here. They are the real builders, and I want to connect to the real builders, explore the opportunities, and see how we can do together.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're in Zug, which is also known as Crypto Valley. You said it, right? We're not necessarily in a bear market, but we're in a build market. Tell us exactly what you guys are building.
So we have this Web3 engagement layer that goes through a gaming platform of Introverse, and we actually gather communities from NFT collections, and we engage them, and we increase for those collections the floor price, sales volume, organic growth on their channels, and we gather them in these, gameplay where they can compete but also collaborate, and we extend this competition also on other platforms and on other blockchains.
So I noticed that you guys have your Ape Fest Bored Ape gear representing here in Zug. You mentioned community. Tell us what your experience has been as, I'm assuming, holders, and the value that you see not only in this bear market but for the future.
Everyone in the Bored Ape community is a builder, and everyone is trying to create a product or a service building on their IP. This is great when it comes to have collaborations and, helping each other, especially during this building market. Community for us is just building together and staying together, being stronger.
So you mentioned FOMO was one of the reasons why you came here. That's a powerful force. Tell me what it's like here in Zug and what you're expecting so far in the connections that you're making.
When you come here, you see the real builders and the real OGs. Maybe you don't get to know them maybe on the Twitter, on the Discord, because they are builders, from 9 years, 10 years. So they see up and down of the market. So having some exchange with them, I think is really valuable. You can go to them and try to shake hands, say why you're here, and maybe have a 15 minutes of conversation that cannot happen outside here.
No, I think that's absolutely true. And I think you're hitting on one of the most important points, and that is the technology that we're building and that we're playing with is supposed to leverage things that we want to do as human beings, not so that we just only live in some digital world. And you can't replace getting together with human beings. And that's exactly what you guys are doing in community building and linking these two parts together, and I think that's cool. And you're right, you can't get the same experience through the Discord channels and stuff. You got to come to some of these events. It's exciting, and I think you guys are a representation of that.
So speaking of OGs and builders in this space, we have Georg Bak with us. Maybe you can give some perspective, especially around what you are focusing on these days, where you see the opportunities, and what do you suggest people should be FOMOing into now?
Well, I can only speak from the art world side of it. Well, NFTs especially. At the moment, everything is a little bit calm, and we have time to look at everything very closely and also discover some jewels that are lying around, that we're not so loud as other projects, but we're really important early.
Do you want to give any historical alpha right now?
Actually, it's funny, we're sitting here in Zug, in CV Summit, and 5 years ago, I was on stage with John Watkins.
Larva Labs.
Yeah, we had a 10-minute chat during the dinner, and just a few days later, we opened up the first Swiss blockchain art exhibition and showed CryptoPunks for the first time. So
This was one of the first presentations of CryptoPunks publicly, is that right?
yeah, as an art exhibition, yeah, we brought him into the art world, yes.
So what are you excited about in this space as you've seen the space mature? You mentioned some things are being overlooked right now, especially in the art world as NFTs. What keeps you excited about staying in this space?
Well, art never dies. I think, the artworks produced nowadays are much more mature. I would say even much more interesting than the early artworks, which were just important because they were early, but they were not necessarily good art. And now we're seeing more and more great artists coming into the space. As a collector, now is the time to buy. There's great opportunities at the moment.
What is your take on some of these communities that have been dismissed by mainstream media that tend to not really give much thought around the disruptive nature of the technology around NFTs? And when we talk about communities, Bored Apes, for example, and other communities around PFP collectibles that do show longevity, do show commitment with communities, finding value in so many different ways. What is your take on the future of these types of NFT projects?
Well, I think we saw a few very successful communities, some really successful products that came out of these communities, great merch, great parties. I'm not sure at the moment if you want to build a new community, a new PFP project, it's probably a tough one. Yeah, I'm not sure whether the new ones will succeed because there were just too many PFP projects and people got a little bit bored.
But you mentioned, some of these projects collaborating or partnering in some ways. This is something very unique also around NFTs that technology enables this shared collaboration. Matt, you wanted to say something.
What do you think some of the big misunderstandings are from the public that are kind of like a disconnect preventing or slowing down the adoption of where the technology is ultimately going?
Most people, they associate NFTs and crypto with speculation and fast money or stupid money, but they're not curious enough to think about all the potential that is within this technology. And it's not just art or membership. You can wrap any type of legal right into an NFT. So this is a huge market, a huge potential, and people should see how they can transform their own business with this technology.
No, I think that's a great point, is hitting in on the legal things. And we know at bare minimum that an NFT covers two legally distinct concepts, one being authenticity. So it acts as a certificate of authenticity, but it also demarcates ownership and provenance. And I think that's a very elegant solution, which creates a lot of efficiency and value for the marketplace at large.
So I think the takeaway here with all this alpha is it is a builder's market, and we should start calling it that because we are seeing that everywhere we go. Lots of passion still in this space, a lot of things still being built, and a lot of maturing that this space is currently going through.
When you asked before about the misunderstanding about communities have about, NFTs collections, and especially the blue chip ones like Bored Apes, most of the people don't understand that when they purchase one of those assets, it's like buying a share of an emerging brand, like buying a little slice of Gucci at the very early stage. And that makes the difference because now maybe Bored Ape sounds silent, but they're building in so many directions, like in gaming, in, fashion, in so many directions. And having a piece of that, having an ape, is like being part of the brand itself. It's not just a piece of art. There's a deeper meaning, behind, having an NFT.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you guys here for coming and for FOMOing into this space, for Georg, for inviting you here. Thanks for your insights, Georg. Thanks for your passion and insights into what you guys are building, and good luck. Thank you.